Today we look at microbes in human welfare, focusing on bacteria and their many roles. Bacteria may be microscopic, but they are central to ecology, industry, and medicine. So, understanding them helps us see how microbial life supports daily life and whole ecosystems. To guide us, we'll cover a few key areas: the basic features and shapes of bacteria, how they participate in the nitrogen cycle, and the useful activities they perform in agriculture, waste treatment, industry, and medicine. Keeping these themes in mind makes it easier to connect structure to function. First, a quick definition and some basic features. The study of bacteria is called bacteriology. Bacteria are unicellular, prokaryotic organisms with a rigid cell wall and no membrane bound nucleus. Inside a typical cell, you find cytoplasm with ribosomes and a nucleoid region that holds the DNA, surrounded by a plasma membrane and often structures like villi and a rigid cell wall. Historically, they were classified differently by early scientists, but functionally, what matters is their prokaryotic organization and their ability to carry out many biochemical processes, including synthesizing certain vitamins that animal cells cannot. Bacteria are the smallest cellular organisms and need a microscope to be seen. Typical bacterial cells range from about half a micron to a few microns long. Many fall in the 0.5 to 5 micrometer range, although a few species can reach up to around 15 micrometers. For scale, 1 micron is 1,000th of a millimeter, roughly 1/25,000th of an inch. Shape is a helpful way to start identifying bacteria. Cocci are spherical or oval cells. They can appear singly as micrococcus, in pairs as diplococci, in groups of 4 as tetracocci, in chains as streptococci, in clusters as staphylococci, or in packets called sarcina. Familiar examples include Streptococcus pneumoniae and Staphylococcus aureus, which differ in arrangement and clinical behavior. Beyond cocci, bacteria take other forms. Bacilli are rod-shaped and may occur singly, in pairs, or in chains. Vibrios are comma-shaped and usually motile, while spirilla are rigid, spiral-shaped cells with flagella. There are also filamentous, stalked, or budded forms, and many species are pleomorphic, meaning they can change shape in response to environmental conditions. Now let's move into the nitrogen cycle, starting with nitrogen fixation. Some free-living bacteria, like Azotobacter in oxygen-rich soils and Clostridium in anaerobic pockets, can convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia. Equally important are symbiotic bacteria such as Rhizobium, which form root nodules on legumes and fix nitrogen directly in association with the plant, supplying ammonia that supports plant growth. After fixation comes ammonification and nitrification. Ammonification is the breakdown of organic nitrogen from dead organisms and waste into ammonia. Nitrification is a two-step aerobic process. Ammonia is first oxidized to nitrite by bacteria such as Nitrosomonas, and then nitrite is oxidized to nitrate by bacteria like Nitrobacter. These transformations make nitrogen available in different chemical forms for plants and other microbes. Denitrification completes the cycle by returning nitrogen to the atmosphere. Certain bacteria, examples include species of Pseudomonas, some Bacillus strains, and Thiobacillus denitrificans, can reduce nitrate and nitrite through intermediate gases like nitrous oxide back to nitrogen gas, especially under low oxygen conditions. This balances the inputs and outputs of usable nitrogen in ecosystems. Bacteria also perform many useful activities in ecology and agriculture. They act as nature's recyclers, decomposing dead organic matter into humus which improves soil aeration and water retention. Composting relies on bacterial breakdown of farm refuse into manure, and bacteria like Bigatoa play roles in converting hydrogen sulfide into sulfate, affecting nutrient availability and soil chemistry. In waste management, especially sewage treatment, bacteria are indispensable. Anaerobic microbes break down organic matter in covered reservoirs, producing sludge and purified effluent. Organisms commonly involved include E. coli, various streptococci and clostridia, Pseudomonas and lactobacillus. Properly treated sludge can be stabilized and used as fertilizer, closing the nutrient loop. In industry, bacteria contribute to food and fiber processing. In dairy, lactobacillus species convert lactose to lactic acid, and certain streptococci help coagulate casein to form curd. Ripening bacteria then develop flavors in cheese. Butter and other fermented dairy products also rely on bacterial metabolism to create characteristic aromas. In textile processing, bacterial retting softens plant tissues to separate fibers like flax and jute. Bacteria are important both industrially and inside the human body. Vinegar production is a two-step process. Yeast ferments sugars into alcohol, and Acetobacter oxidizes that alcohol into acetic acid. In our guts, E. coli and other commensals aid digestion and nutrient processing. Herbivores rely on bacterial cellulose digestion. Bacteria also produce enzymes such as proteases and pectinases that have practical uses in food processing and retting. Medically, bacteria are both tools and targets. Some bacteria are used to produce vitamins like riboflavin, and bacterial components are used in vaccine development to induce immunity against diseases such as typhoid and cholera. Antibiotics, chemical agents that inhibit or kill other microbes, are most famously produced by Streptomyces species and have revolutionized treatment of bacterial infections. To recap, bacteria are unicellular prokaryotes with diverse shapes: cocci, bacilli, vibrios, and spirilla, and they play central roles in the nitrogen cycle through fixation, ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification. Their welfare roles span ecology and agriculture, sewage treatment, industry, and medicine, from producing curd, cheese, and vinegar to enabling fiber retting, synthesizing vitamins, and providing antibiotics and vaccines. Understanding these connections highlights why bacteria are so important to both nature and human society.
That's it for today. Learn smarter with EduRev. Notes, tests, and practice in one app. Download EduRev now on Play Store and App Store and keep learning every day.